So we wanted to begin with a bit of a reflection on this last year, which has definitely been a trying time for our world. The nation was just beginning to come to terms with the realities of the COVID-19 pandemic when it witnessed the murder of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and far too many others. Yesterday, May 25th, actually marks the 1-year anniversary of George Floyd's death and America's re-reckoning with racism and anti-Blackness. The United States has a long storied history of racial injustice, but the worldwide protest and demonstrations of last summer, in solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement, captured everyone's attention in a way that felt different. Corporations, in particular, began to re-examine their place in the call for social justice and racial equity, and many companies, CAHRS partners included, met that call and have taken a more insightful and intentional look at diversity, equity, and inclusion within themselves over the last year. So as Ethan and I began looking at potential research topics this past January, we talked about all of the ways that HR and life more broadly has changed over the last 12 months. And we decided that we had this incredible opportunity to study how this year and the events of summer 2020 in particular have impacted DEI in the workplace and beyond. So that was the impetus for our research and what we set out to study. So in this effort over the past 4 months, we've been able to engage with 39 leaders in this space, from chief diversity officers to heads of talent across 32 CAHRS partner companies, to gain insight on their DE&I practices. Through interviews and surveys, we gathered both qualitative and quantitative data and used analysis and techniques like affinity diagramming to uncover some really interesting findings. Our sample size spanned across industries and maturity in the DEI space. And one thing that Ethan and I learned this semester was that DEI is highly contextual. For example, company size in our sample ranged from 3,800 to over 500,000. And that's a factor that will undeniably change a way that DEI is structured, resourced, and scaled within an organization. But with this in mind, many of the impacts and trends that we'll be sharing with you today are those that ring true for companies despite their differences in size, industry, or DEI maturity. We found that many organizations are navigating the same challenges, priorities, and opportunities as their peers.